My philosophy in life, it would be dream it, do it. Think it, do it. And that's what I say to people. Once you can think it, please take the next step and try it out. Never be afraid to do that thing that you've dreamt of or that you've thought of. Life is all about taking risk. So as long as you can dream it, think it, please do it. Ndidi Obioha is first and foremost a serial entrepreneur. But my personality, I was born in Germany from a family of 5. I'm the second of 5 kids. My parents studied and got married in Germany, and they had my older sister and I there in Germany. I went to Federal Government Girls College, Owerri, secondary school. And then university, I went to Obafemi Awolowo University, where I studied international relations. I would usually describe myself as a very free-spirited person. And I owe my parents all the thanks in the world for instilling in us that confidence, the ability to express ourselves. Never, my parents always taught us, never be afraid to express yourself once you believe in what you're doing or whatever it is you're thinking. Another thing my dad always taught us was, make sure you don't have a skeleton in your cupboard. That way, it's easy for you to want to express yourself. And the other life lesson I remember my parents taught us growing up was, never do bad as you go up, because you might meet the same people that you met up there on your way down. So these are life lessons that helped me, or has helped me become, or shaped me to who I am today. I'm married, happily married. I've got 3 beautiful, amazing children. I call them my entertainers. 2 boys and a girl. I run an event management company and also fashion clinic. And also have tried my hands out in different other things, which is how I bagged the name serial entrepreneur. Not being afraid to try. Once I think it, I dream it, I want to do it. So that has shaped me into who I am today, and that is Ndidi Obioha. When I'm bored or when I'm not busy, I like to listen to music a lot. I love to watch romantic movies. I love comedies. And I do love to dance. And organize and host or entertain people. So, and I see that some of these skills that are innate in me are the things that have also helped me in the different businesses that I'm doing today. So I'm a passion-driven person, and that I say to young ones or people, passion should always be your driving force. So these are some of the things that have shaped me and have made me who I am today. I would, based on my personality, in being very passionate about what I believe in, being very professional in delivering the things that I believe in, or whatever job it is that I'm doing, has also bagged me quite a number of awards as a style icon, as a style diva. In my business as an event consultant, we've won quite a number of awards. Event Consultant of the Year in 2009, 2011, 2013. And so I've received some awards outside the country. The AULO Award, African Women in Leadership Award, which was given to me in Washington, D.C. I also remember receiving an award in Ghana. All of this. And I guess when you do something right, the recognition is there. And that's what has bagged us quite a number of these awards. So this is who Ndidi Obioha is. A free-spirited, never afraid to try, a risk taker. I'm very passionate about whatever I do. The vision to become an entrepreneur. Okay, to be honest, I would say it's something that's always been in me. But I mean, these are things that you realize as time goes on. I remember coming out of secondary school, graduating, and I went to my dad and said to him to please loan me 300 naira. And he looked at me as in, what do you want 300 naira for? And I said to him, oh, I wanted to start up my own business. I wanted to start baking. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, daddy, I want to try it out. And because my parents had always instilled in us to be able to talk about what you want to do and being able to convince them why you believe in that thing that you want to do. So I was able to convince my dad, got the 300 naira loan from him. And I remember I went ahead and I think it was Chin Chin and made back then. Happily doing it, young girl, looking forward to taking it out there to some of the supermarkets out there and getting them to buy it. And that I did, even though, yes, I lost a lot of money because, I mean, I didn't know how to do the calculations and all that. But the idea of being able to bring that dream to reality was all I needed to satisfy me. And I did the changing, took to the different supermarkets, and they bought and paid me for it. I mean, my dad, after a few months, looked at me and said, my darling daughter, you're just losing money here and all of that. But just the fact that I tried that thing I thought of was all I needed to encourage me, to keep me going. And, so time went on, got into university. I've always been a very restless person. I hate to be idle. And I remember getting clothes from an auntie friend of mine who would travel abroad, bring things. And I said to her, give me, I'll sell. I have friends that like to buy stuff and everything. And I've always believed that I'm, a marketer. I've always loved marketing. So she would give me this clothes. I would sell to my friends. And that was how my interest in fashion started also. That I put aside. Then I remember saying to myself, the restless person that I am, okay, I wanted to try something else. I'd watched the pageants, I'd watched shows, and I said to myself, then I was a jambite, which we called back then a jambito. And I said to myself, I can put together an event in school instead of just, I'd seen the events that they had done and there was something missing. So I put together what I called Chronic. It was a rave of DJs. So I brought 4 DJs together. I remember Jimmy Jat was one of them. Fresh Waves were one of them. Galaxy, and I can't remember the 4th person. In fact, interesting, somebody sent me the flyer of the poster that we put out in schools in the Southwest back then. And when I saw it, this was the person sent it to me last year. I don't know where he got it from, most likely from his archives. And I could not believe that. It was like, oh my God. So I sent it to Jimmy Jazz and I sent it to Fresh Wave. And I'm like, I'm sure you guys don't know we go way back. And they had such a good, they're like, oh my God, Ndidi, was that you back then? I'm like, yeah. Because this is me now as an event consultant now. I use them for a lot of my events. And to think that we go way back since 1994, where I put that show together. So my thing for events has always been there, for hosting, for organizing has always been there. And that was what made me that. So I did that then, put that aside, finally graduated. And, that whole, but okay, in between, I remember in between, we had all the massive strikes and I couldn't sit at home doing nothing. I've never want to be idle. So I went job hunting, got a job with an advertising agency, New Generation Advertising. I remember back then, and I absolutely loved it because I was in client service, which was marketing for me, and I just love to be a marketing person. Just the idea of getting people, convincing people to do something and getting value from them and me giving them value in return just totally gives me that kick. So I went ahead, worked in New Generation Advertising, finally graduated, and apparently I must have done so well, made a good impact with the company that they had a reserved desk for me. And my MD said to me then, whenever you're on holiday, please feel free to come back. This desk is waiting for you. And I remember, as young as I was then, they actually gave me the Blue Band account to manage, as the account officer for the Blue Band account. And then went on and managed a few other accounts, Joby, generators, the accounts, and a few others before I went back to school. But every holiday I would go back. Finally graduated from university and worked with not advertising again. It was a telecom company. Independent telecom network. So I worked with them. I think they were one of the first telecom companies back then in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria. Worked with them, and then went back to advertising. Then I was doing my youth service, and I worked at STB McCann and all that. Finished that, and then finally worked in the bank. So I had a stint in these different industries. But in all of them, the one common factor for me, the one thing that I did in all of these industries was being a marketing person, being a client service marketing kind of person. And that is one thing I know I have a huge passion for. Left the bank, got tired of the banking thing. It wasn't challenging enough for me anymore. And decided, okay, go back and bring out your entrepreneurial skills. And I struggled as to what to do. I mean, this was banking that was paying well and all that. But for me, it's not always about the money. It's about the passion, the dream. It's about finding something that's challenging. So I decided it was time for me to leave the paid employment. And I asked myself I struggled with what to do next. And one thing I always look out for is where there's a gap, try to fill it in, try to find something to fill in that gap. And so I looked at the salon business. I was living on the mainland then. We had very good hairstylists, but we never had a conducive environment where people could go get their hair done. So I used to come all the way to the island to get my hair done. And I'm very passionate about good hair, looking good and all that. So while I was in the bank, people thought I even had a salon at home because every week I'd have my hair done. But I used to make that trip all the way to the mainland. So I said to myself, okay, this is one way to start. So I went ahead and opened what I called a very conducive environment where people could get their hair done because we had the stylist already. And what was conducive about this environment, it was a much bigger, very big space. People would get served, top-notch service, customer service. People would get served, coffee, all of that, those little details, because I always believe in carving a niche for yourself in anything that you do. So that was what I brought to the table. And before I knew it, I got signed on as the official hair salon for MBGN pageant. I got signed on as the official hair salon for the Bridal Wedding Planner magazine. And in less than 6 months of opening the salon, we became a household name. We started competing with the likes of salons that already existed. People would, giving awards, they would nominate the salon in less than 6 months. And for me, that was the beginning of my journey into the entrepreneurial person that I am today. So the salon gave birth to the event business. How did this happen? So the brides would come to get their hair done because, like I said to you, we're the official salon for Wedding Planner magazine. So a lot of brides, that was the bridal Bible, back then. So a lot of brides would buy it and see the hairstyles, see the wedding dresses and all of that. So they'll come to us to get their hair done. So we'd always do a consulting thing. It's not just about coming to get your hair done. We'll consult, we'll find out what kind of outfit you're wearing, we'll find out the accessories and all that. And I would come up with a lot of the styles and get my stylist to implement because, like I said, I'm not a stylist. And I remember this bride one day that came after discussing her hairstyle. She started lamenting on the stress she's going through putting together her wedding, stressed with her in-laws. And I said, so I just was advising her, we just got chatty. And I said to her, you know what? I now told her about my wedding, how I put together my wedding, got my wedding on a boat and blah, 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 and all of that. And she found it very interesting. The next thing she said to me was, Madam, you're full of ideas. Please plan my wedding. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you for real? She was like, yes, please plan my wedding. Please, I can't deal with the stress. I'm like, okay. This is me. I've always planned parties at home. I love to host. Every December, I would have people come around, host them. But I never thought of it as a business. And that was my break. And I did that wedding. And that wedding got me 3 other events. And that was how the event business was given birth to. And the event business gave birth to the bridal business, where we had a one-stop shop, wedding dresses, everything wedding, anything you wanted to find regarding your wedding, the tiaras, the outfits, everything. And so you come, buy all that you need for your wedding, and also have us plan your wedding. So we had an amazing package. So we did that. And then the wedding dresses gave birth to the red carpet dresses. So people would see things I would wear to the weddings I'm doing or the events that I attend, and people were like, I love this, I want to buy, where did you get it from? And I just thought there was a gap there. People are looking for this kind of pieces. Why don't I bring it in and tap into that? And that's how the red carpet, or the dresses, the occasion dresses, was given birth to. And Enthyst Fashion Klinik finally came to bear. Enthyst Fashion Klinik then gave birth to Embodies, the TV show. So in doing the weddings, doing all the events and all that, I realized it was time to give back. I realized that a lot of people did not see the true impact of an event planner or consultant. If people will come to the event, everywhere is all done up, everything is all ready, and they're like, oh, what does the event planner do? So I said, no, I needed to teach. I needed to educate people. And so I came up with Event Pros, which was an infotainment reality show where I would show what it takes to put together an event. And we had that on African Magic for like 2 years and all that. And yeah, so I did that. And then the restless me, I thought I needed to do something else. I was getting a bit whatever. So I thought to go into production or manufacturing, more like. So I opened up a bakery. Yes, I did open up a bakery. So people see me and say, Ndidi, what's up? What's next? What are you up to next? So there's always something cooking. And for me, it is passion. It's the need to fill in a gap, the need to want to try things out. Now, when I opened the bakery, it was a proper factory where we did bread for the masses. So it was about churning out quality bread at very affordable price. That was what it was for me. I just needed to see people eat healthy bread, but at very, very affordable prices. Yeah, so I did that, even though that's the one business I did that I got my hands burnt, because I realized that, okay, the bread business looks like a cartel business. It was just very difficult to survive in it. But I'm never afraid to try. Lost money, but hey, dusted my feet and moved on. The event part of the business has continued to evolve. Now we've carved a niche for ourselves in the area of burial services. But the funny thing is, I remember back then, I used to say to people, the first burial I ever did, I remember clearly, was for a dear friend of mine, her husband's burial. He died in England. And she calls me from there and says, Ndidi, please, I need you to do this. You're the only one I can give this to. And she's a very dear friend of mine, so there's no way I could say no. And this is me that I'd always said to people, I don't do burials, I only do happy events, I only do happy events. But because a friend needed me at that time, I had to put that aside and be there for my friend. And we put together that burial, and it was such a huge success by God's grace. that now put our name out there. So Enthyst now started doing one burial after the other, one burial after the other. At some point, I took a break because it was too emotional for me, because I mean, at every burial I would do, I would cry, when I see people. So it was a bit emotional for me. So I realized I wasn't emotionally ready. So I took a break. And then, like 4 years down the line, a friend of mine now calls me when he lost his 23-year-old son and said to me, Ndidi, you're the only one that can put together this burial for us. And I literally almost passed out. I'm like 23-year-old. That's not too far from my son's age. I think that's the most emotional event I ever did. But we did that and it was so well done. I mean, when we use the word well done in burials, we talk about giving a very befitting burial to a loved one. And that literally just opened a very huge door that I realized that I couldn't close anymore. This is what I was meant to do. And this is realizing that people are grieving and you're able to bring joy, you're able to bring solace to them, you're able to give them that time to grieve because you're taking that burden away from them to be able to plan something befitting for their loved ones. And we literally have made a name for ourselves in that area, and we've been doing back to back. But the joy in knowing that the satisfaction from the people that they've left behind, knowing that they've given that their loved one a very befitting burial, totally gives us that pride and satisfaction. So that's the area where we've carved out a niche for ourselves right now. And then with the whole Zoom, with what COVID has brought, I mean, that's not stopping us. So we've been doing a lot of Zoom events. I mean, because I always say to people, you always have to evolve with a business. As things change, be ready to change. Be ready to, be on top of your game. Be a step ahead. And we've been known to do very flawless Zoom productions, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing. So it's just like I always say, passion. When passion drives you, you think out of the box, and that sets you apart from the rest. So yeah. As an entrepreneur, one of the areas that's been very dear to my heart is with the young girls, um, which we call hostesses and ushers for events. So, one of the things I do, or Enthyst does in engaging their services, is we make them understand that there's pride in whatever they decide to do, even as ushers. So, it's about, instead of being idle as a student, because most of them are students, a few of them are undergraduate, but most of them are students. Instead of being idle, find a source of livelihood, which is being able to work as an usher or a hostess, instead of relying on other ways of making money that's not as dignifying, but being able to encourage them and create that platform, create that job opportunity every time for them to have some way of making an income. So and every time I engage their services is an opportunity for me to talk to them, for me to imbibe one or two things in them, and it gives me joy in being able to do that. Another aspect would be in the entertainment industry. So we usually would use the company's platform, Enthyst platform, as an event company to create that platform for some of these upcoming entertainment people in the industry, be it musicians, be it comedians, MCs and all that, to perform at some of these events. And I mean, there are quite a number that we've been able to give that platform, and I've watched them become so big. It gladdens my heart so much. It gladdens from that one or two or three platforms that we gave them has totally put them out there, and they've literally gone so big. We make sure we afford people that opportunity to, and that's by giving them the platform to be able to showcase themselves and their talent to people. Yeah. And then, um, job opportunities. It's always about creating job opportunities for the job seekers out there. So we would always, employ our way of giving back, you know, bringing in, just employing youth coppers. We're signed up with the National Youth Service, so they do send us coppers from time to time. I remember back then when we had the salon, we were signed up with Opera Bence's institute. So a lot of their staff would come for internship um, at aircraft. So it's always about being able to give back. The TV show was all about giving back. It was a platform where people could watch, and if you watch the program consistently, you could actually learn to be a planner. So I believe in giving back. I believe in making a positive impact as much as I can, and being able to mentor people. The idea is making sure that we bring out professionals in the different sectors in whatever we do, because that's the one thing that we find lacking. So the ability to bring a professional, the ability to pay attention to details, and the ability to let passion be your driving force is what we try to put out there as a way of impacting on people. My advice to upcoming entrepreneurs would be my philosophy also. Dream it, think it, do it. Never be afraid to try. That whole idea of the fear of the unknown can limit you so badly. So always find what you're very passionate about. Let passion be your driving force. Because when you make passion your driving force, what happens is whether you make money or you don't make money, you're happy doing what you're doing, and the money would eventually come. So passion is your number one driving force. Your watchword should be professionalism. In whatever you do, try to be very, very professional. It would always help you stand out. Pay attention to details, especially for those that want to become event consultants, event planners. That attention you pay to details totally makes a world of difference in the way you execute whatever it is, or you implement whatever it is, that whatever brief that you've conceptualized. So it's very important that you imbibe these things and be ready to take risks. For an entrepreneur that says, an upcoming entrepreneur that says, but what about funding? Event planning, the beauty about event planning is you really don't need funds to start. As an event planner, you conceptualize, you define, you plan, manage, execute, implement, you source. So by the time you're sourcing the vendors, put together your budget and send to the client. A lot of times the client will pay a certain percentage for you to be able to execute the job. So it's about being a very creative person in the first place. Because you see, clients will be comfortable when they think you know your onions. So they're willing to part with that, whatever the budget, the money is, knowing that, I say to people, your event planner is like your doctor. Is whatever you say that is wrong with you, that he or she would know where to start treating, or where to start, sorting out whatever you need sorted out. So, but you need, as a planner, to be able to convince the client that you do know your onion. So I always say, make sure you get that training. Make sure you find the right mentor. Make sure you go the whole hog of the practical bit of planning, even when you've learned the theoretical aspect, because the practical bit is a whole different ballgame, and that's really what helps you execute at the end of the day when you do become a planner. It helps you know the different challenges that can come up, and then helps you understand how to prefer solutions when those challenges do come up from the practical experience you get. So it's very important that you get trained. The practical aspect of that training is very, very key. But in all of it, dream it, think it, believe in yourself, and do it.